Scott Morrison is staring down his critics, declaring he won't resign from Parliament over the secret ministry scandal. The former Prime Minister argues he kept his powers secret because he feared they would be misunderstood.
At the centre of a political storm, Scott Morrison emerges defiant.
You're standing on the shore after the fact. I was steering the ship in the middle of the tempest.
The former Prime Minister fronts the cameras, attempting to explain why he secretly took control of 5 key ministries during the pandemic, including Treasury, Finance and Home Affairs.
These were emergency, effectively reserve powers.
Those powers were deliberately hidden from the Australian people.
I think there was a great risk that in the midst of that crisis, those powers could be misinterpreted and misunderstood.
Scott Morrison was evasive, he was defensive, he was passive-aggressive.
Even Mr Morrison's closest cabinet confidants were kept in the dark.
I didn't need to trouble any of those ministers.
You deceived your colleagues.
I didn't disclose it to them.
Former Treasurer Frydenberg is privately furious that he was not told.
Well, of course I regret that offence and apologise for that offence.
One of his closest political allies, Stuart Robert, says Cabinet should have been informed.
Because transparency is really important, and I think Cabinet would have said there's no need for this.
Scott Morrison rejects suggestions his secret ministerial moves amount to an unprecedented power grab.
The fact that ministers were unaware of these things is actually proof of my lack of interference.
Though admitting he did interfere on at least one occasion, in 2021 when he overruled Resources Minister Keith Pitt to block the controversial PEP 11 gas project.
I don't regret that for a second.
Governor-General David Hurley signed off on Morrison's ministerial moves, but it remains unclear whether he ever sought his own legal advice on the matter and whether he ever privately counselled Mr Morrison to make the appointments public.
I don't go into private discussions with the Governor-General.
I have no intention of undertaking any criticism of the Governor-General.
As for Mr Morrison's political future...
Will you resign over this?
Well, of course not. These issues don't relate to my role as the member for Cook.
It's kind of changed a lot of people's views about him in the area.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty dodgy.
Well, I think it's dreadful.
And a good job for the country in some very bad conditions.
The former Prime Minister vowing to fight on, but he won't commit to serving out his full term.
I intend to go on being a quiet Australian in the Shire.
Trudy McIntosh, Sky News, Canberra.